Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time I'm back with something a little bit different. I'm going to be going over my 20 most anticipated games for Gen Con. I'm going to be going over 10 games I'm anticipating to demo and 10 I'm anticipating to buy. So, for those of you who don't know, Gen Con is, as this says right here, is the largest and longest running gaming conventions in the US. It's held in Indianapolis, Indiana, each year. It goes August 3rd through August 6th, so it's coming up here real soon. So I'm going. I went last year for the first time, had a blast, got a lot of really cool games like Turing Machine. So I'm trying to be a bit more proactive this time and see what games are going to be demoing there and available for purchase. So as you can see, there are 483 games total. There are 118 to demo and roughly 358 to buy. So there are a lot of games I had to go through. I've narrowed it down to 10 of each, though I will have a handful of honorable mentions for games I'm demoing and games I'm buying. I'll have timestamps down below with all the games I'm going to be going over, and also I will note in the timestamp what booth these games will be at. I'll also note that when I go over the games themselves. So I should just note also real quick before hopping in, I am a big solo gamer. I play a lot of solo games on the channel, so this list will have a lot of solo games in it. So keep that in mind if you're wondering why maybe a certain game didn't appear here. If it didn't have a solo mode, I did still look at most of these games, but it was definitely not as high up on my list if it didn't at least have a solo mode. So let's get into it. So number 10 on my list of games to demo is 20 Strong, a game published by Chip Theory. This will be found at booth 2719. And it is this really pretty compact game that consists of just kind of cards and dice. There's a lot of different re-themes. There's one for like Too Many Bones. I even forget some of the other ones. There's like a Solar Sentinel one. Looks like a really cool game, has really cool art. I have actually already backed this game on GameFound or Kickstarter, one of the two. So I'm just looking forward to trying it because I'll be getting it at some point. So that is my first game to demo. So the next game on my list is Apex Legends, the board game, published by Glass Cannon Unplugged. This will be found in booth 3033. And this is a game based on the video game Apex Legends. If you're familiar, this is a battle royale style game. In Apex Legends, you normally have a team of people. And this is another kind of game that I have already backed on the crowdfunding campaign. So I am already kind of be getting this game, but I have yet to try it. So I am looking forward to giving it a go. One thing that stuck out to me is that this has all sorts of different game modes from the sounds of it. So it sounds like you could do, 2v2 fights, or you can kind of do like a free-for-all. And there's a solo mode. There's like a bunch of different game modes. So that's one thing that really interests me about this. But yeah, that's Apex Legends, my number 9 game to demo. So moving right along to my next game, number 8 on my games to demo is Pampero. This is published by APE Games. This will be found at booth 2439 and is set to be released in November of later this year. In this game, you build wind farms, then expand and improve your grid to master the energy market, is at least what its little description reads. And this looks like a really cool game. It looks like it has cool game boards, kind of like upgraded technology trees. I like anything kind of doing with like kind of tech stuff, and especially if it has like upgradable stuff. And so from what I saw of the pictures, this game looks really cool, so I'm excited to give it a try. Next game, number 7 on my list of games to demo, is Forges of Ravenshire, a game published by BA Games. This will be located in booth 464. And this game will be also released next year. April of next year is when it's set to be released. In this game, you are running a forge in Ravenshire, competing for the title of Forge Master. From the looks of it, it looks like a pretty cool game. So here's some pictures from it. It looks like just a fun like market game where you're, I guess, just making different armor and using that to like convert. You have maybe some resource conversion going on. A lot of these games, like I said, I don't know too much what's going on. I just have the pictures and the description to go off of, but this one sounds pretty cool. It's 1 to 4 players, so it's got a solo mode, so I'm definitely gonna check it out. Number 6 game on my list is Pocket Paragons, and there are a couple versions of this available. I'm just picked out the Spaceline version. This is a game published by Solos Game Studio. This will be located in booth 2805, and it's set to be released in September of this year. Its description is kind of what caught my eye. It's a 10-minute quick and intense asymmetric duel. Sounds like a good time. I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about. The pictures don't say too much, but some of them have some pretty in-depth abilities and whatnot, so I imagine there's probably a decent amount going on to this game, and I don't know, I'm just kind of, the description of a quick 10-minute intense asymmetric duel sounds pretty neat, so I'm gonna check this one out. Halfway through the list now, number 5 is Ascendancy. This is a game published by One More Turn Games. This will be found at booth 1553, and it's set to be released in Q3 of this year. In Ascendancy, it's the ultimate 4X meets worker placement experience. Once again, it's these little short descriptions is kind of what I have to go off of, and it sounds like a good time. I like these player boards. I don't really know what I'm seeing here, but I like kind of at least some of the stuff I'm seeing with like some like faction or tech tree kind of stuff down there, and I don't know. Once again, a lot of these games I don't have too much to go off of based off just the descriptions and some of these pictures, but this one sounds pretty cool, so I am definitely interested to take a look at it. Number 4 on my list is Cargo Empires. This is a game published by Modius Game Design. This will be found at booth 2958. And in this game, you build networks and deliver cargo in a fantasy land. It's a pick up and deliver type game with a point-to-point network building. There's no pictures, it's just the cover to go off of, but that description alone sounds really neat to me. Plays 60 and 90 minutes, it does have a solo mode, so I'm definitely gonna be checking this one out and seeing what Cargo Empires is all about. And this is set to be released, because I almost forgot to say that, some point this year is what it says, so. We're finally into the top 3 games that I'm anticipating to demo at Gen Con. Number 3 is this one called Noobs in Space. This is published by Cosmos. This will be at booth 2405, and it's supposed to be released in August of this year. Its description reads, using what little information each player has, can you complete missions in space? This is not a solo game, but there's not really much to go off of the pictures, but just from the sound of the game, and I mean, Cosmos, I do like their games, like they make like The Crew and stuff. I'm definitely interested to see. It kind of looks like a bit kind of a goofy sci-fi game, co-op, right? I think it's cooperative, so I like good co-op games, so I'm definitely looking to check out this game. My number 2 game to demo is this one called Galactic Cruise. This is published by Kinson Key Games. This will be at booth 336. It's set to be released some point next year. Its description reads, build and launch shuttles to send guests on luxurious space vacations. Sounds like a pretty cool game. It does have a solo mode, bit of a longer game, 90 to 150 minutes. And yeah, just from the pictures, I like a good sci-fi space game, especially if it has cool tech or tech upgrades, which this does seem to have. So, and the premise just sounds cool, making galactic space cruises and whatnot for people just sounds like a good time. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking out Galactic Cruise. And finally, my number 1 game I am most anticipated to try at Gen Con is Dead Cells, the roguelite board game. This is published by Le Scorpion Mask. It's set to be released sometime next year, and this is going to be found at booth 2329. Now, I'm really excited for this game for a number of reasons. First off, it's solo. Cool. Roguelike. I like roguelites. It's a bit of a dungeon crawler that has a co-op mode. Sign me up. And of course, it's made by the Scorpion Mask, which now that I have Turing Machine, I've kind of become a bit of a fanboy for this company. So once I heard about this, I was immediately wanting to try it. So, and just looking at some of the pictures, I really like the art, and just, I don't really know exactly what's going on in the game. Obviously it's a roguelite and it's a bit of a dungeon crawler, so I got that much. But as far as the specifics, yeah, I don't really know, but art looks good, the cards look cool. I'm a big fan of Turing Machine, so this company I'm kind of anticipating good things from, so I am really looking forward to trying this. So that's why it's my number 1 game I am anticipating to try at Gen Con. So those are my top 10 games I am looking forward to demo. A couple of honorable mentions, I'll just rapid fire real fast, that didn't make the top 10. Everdale Far Shore. I haven't really played any of the Everdale games, but maybe this would be a good one for me to hop in at. So I'm looking at maybe trying that. Cascadia Landmarks. I think it's a new expansion. Once again, I own Cascadia. I haven't yet to play it yet, but I kind of want to try the new expansion, see what it's about. Great Western Trail, New Zealand. Once again, I haven't really played any of the Great Western Trail games, so I was kind of just wanting to maybe try that and see what it's about. Fork, which is some trick-taking game, looked pretty interesting. Super Snipers, Nocturne. So yeah, there was a good handful that missed the list just by a little bit because there were a lot of games to look at, but those were a few honorable mentions. So now we're going to get into the top 10 games I'm anticipating to buy at Gen Con. That will be for sale there. I will note that some of these games on this list are already available for purchase, like right now. I will kind of note that when I go through them because I'll talk about how much they cost, what booth you can find them, and also when they're either going to be released or already have been released. Starting at number 10 is this game called Express Route. It is published by The Op. This will be found at booth 135. It's supposed to cost $40, and its expected release date is Q3 of this year. Its description reads, use the tools at your disposal to satisfy customer demands. I like a good transit game, and I also like a good co-op game, and this is a co-op transit game. The description really didn't get me too much, but when I got at least a look at the board here, I was a little bit more bought into it. I like the idea. There's cool tokens. It looks like I saw somewhere, pretty sure there's like, there's different vehicles and whatnot. I think there's like upgrade cards you can get to like do different, there's like event cards and whatnot. So I don't know too much about the game, but from what I've seen, it looks like it's something up my alley and something I might be picking up at Gen Con. Number 9 on my games to get is Vengeance Roll and Fight. This is a game published by Mighty Boards. This game can be found at booth 366. It's expected to be about $50, and it is already released. I think this was released sometime last year, almost a year ago in like September of 2022. And this is a game that's roll and fight. It's a roll and write where you fight. So this description reads, why roll and write when you can roll and fight? Concept sounds really cool. Looks like it has cool art. The dice look cool. The characters look cool. I like a good roll and write. A roll and fight sounds like a good time. So I will maybe be picking this up. Once again, I realize this is a game that is already available. You can go online, I think, right now and buy it on like Amazon or other sites like that. And I believe this is an episode 1. I think there is an episode 2 that's already out. But yeah, that is my number 9 game. Next up on my list is Beacon Patrol, a game published by Pandasaurus Games. This will be found at booth 215. It's supposed to be about $20 and is going to be released August 4th, 2023. In this game, the description reads, together you build and navigate the coast of the North Sea to secure its waterways. It plays 1 to 4 players. Surprisingly, for what seems like a small game, it plays 30 to 45 minutes, so a bit longer. And yeah, it kind of just looks like a chill little game. I like how the tokens look. I love the art. Honestly, that's one of the main things. And normally, like, I don't know, tile lane games, I'm kind of iffy on, and I don't know if this is like an area control, but like area control, I'm not huge on. But something about this game is just the art, or just like, I don't know too much about actually like the gameplay itself, but I'm really kind of just drawn to it and at least gonna go check it out and maybe I'll pick it up. Number 7 on my list is Expeditions, a game published by Stonemaier Games. This will be found at booth 2909. It's supposed to cost $85, at least for the base edition, and this game is set to be released September 22nd of this year. The description reads, venture to the dangerous north in this tile exploration sequel to Scythe. So yeah, as the description says, it's the sequel to Scythe, so there is already a lot of hype behind this. Admittedly, I have played a little bit of Scythe. I've only played it digitally, and honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Not saying it's a bad game, don't come at me, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So I am curious to play this version. I imagine I've heard it's not exactly the same. It has similar theme, but kind of different gameplay overall. But I really like the theme of Scythe in this game. I really like kind of just the world it takes place. The cards look cool. So I'm kind of willing to maybe hop on the Scythe train, starting with this game and seeing what it's all about. So yeah, that is the number 7 game on my list. Moving right along to number 6 is Clever Forever, a game published by Schmidt Spiel, and it is going to be found at booth 2221. It's going to be about 15 bucks, and it was already released earlier this year on June. So this is a game you can kind of buy online right now, but its description reads, draft dice to mark numbers on your score sheet, comboing bonuses to power your points. This is kind of one of the sequel games to Ganz Clever and Dop Was So Clever and Clever Cube. This is the 4th game now. So I have the first game. I've played the first 2. I like them both. So I kind of want to see what this 4th game adds. So I don't know if that's worth checking out still, but this 4th one, I like the first games well enough, so I figured I might try to pick up this newest version. It looks like it's pretty similar mechanics, but obviously the pad looks a bit different. You have all these different areas that you're doing different stuff at to score points. So that is Clever Forever. Halfway through this list, number 5 is Sky Team, a game published by The Scorpion Mask. This will be found at booth 2329. It's supposed to cost about $30, and it's set to be released in October of this year. Its description reads, pilot and co-pilot work together to land planes. This is a 2-player only game, and the description kind of does all the work. It's a co-op game exclusively for 2 players, which one player is a pilot, one's a co-pilot, and you're working together to try to land a plane. Sign me up. That description alone and the company, like I said, I'm kind of becoming a Scorpion Mask fanboy. That just sounds like a great time. And it looks, I guess, a pretty cool board, little dividers and all of that. I don't know exactly what the actual gameplay will really involve, but that description alone, the company, not super expensive. I definitely will be trying to pick this one up. Number 4 on my list is The Search for Lost Species, a game published by Renegade Games Studio. This will be found in booth 1619. It's supposed to cost about $45, and it's set to be released in August of this year. Its description reads, search for the lost species in a deduction game, follow-up to the search for Planet X. So once again, the description kind of does a lot of work for me that, yes, this is a sequel game to The Search for Planet X, which admittedly, I haven't played. It is probably one of the top games on my soon-to-get list because after playing Turing Machine, I realized I really like deduction games, and I've heard nothing but good things about The Search for Planet X. So I figured I might try to pick up this game and see if it's, how much different it is, if it's a good deduction game, and all that sort of stuff. I definitely like the space theme, I think, more, but I'm willing to give this one a try. It looks like it has great art. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two about some animal species and whatnot. But yeah, I imagine it's going to have a very similar vibe to Search for Planet X, where doing a lot of deduction and whatnot. I think this does have an app that you use, because I think Search for Planet X does. So yeah, that is my number 4 game, The Search for Lost Species. All right, getting into the final 3 games. Number 3 is this one called Inside Job, published by Cosmos. This will be found at booth 2405. It's supposed to cost about $20. And this is a game that's already available. It came out earlier this year in May, so you can kind of get it right now. Its description reads, agents work together to complete missions and gather intel, but who's the insider? So it's a mostly cooperative trick-taking game. It's by Cosmos, who does The Crew, which I am a big fan of The Crew, and I've grown to like trick-taking games because of The Crew, so I'm very interested in trying this, where it's mostly a trick-taking game, but somebody might be kind of like... someone might be working against everybody else. So I like that idea. It seems pretty simple. The cards look a lot like The Crew, very simple art. You have different missions and whatnot. It sounds like a great time. Sign me up. I'm going to be trying to pick up a copy of this at Gen Con. Number 2 is Next Station Tokyo. This is a game published by Blue Orange. You could find this at booth 1901. It's supposed to be about $18, and it's set to be released in Q3 of this year. Its description reads, draw 2 blinds to connect Tokyo. So this is a flip and write style game where you're using different colored pencils to connect different colored lines to different areas and trying to score points in the process. I think this is a sequel. I don't know if it's technically a sequel or just a re-implementation of Next Station London, which is very popular. I think it either won a Spiel des Jahres award or got nominated, but I've played it a couple of times on BGA and really enjoyed it. So I was looking at picking this game up. It looks pretty similar in a lot of ways, but I imagine in some ways it's different. But yeah, Next Station Tokyo is my number 2 game. And my number 1 game I'm anticipating getting at Gen Con is Decrypto. So this is a game published by the Scorpion Mask. You can find this at booth 2329. It's going to cost about $25. And at least the edition that's at Gen Con is going to be released August 2nd, 2023. The version I'm going to be grabbing that's available at Gen Con is supposed to be some sort of 5-year anniversary edition, which I believe is supposed to have a bunch of the like expansions and maybe new stuff in it, maybe just old stuff. I don't really know, but this game's been on my list to get for a while. I've already gone on about Scorpion Mask a lot. It's currently this came out in 2018. It is the number 1 party game on Board Game Geek. That's crazy to be the number 1 game. And so they're doing a 5-year anniversary. That's like a great time, I feel like, for me to pick up the game and see what it's all about. I've been really dying to try this game. You know, I like computers and tech stuff, and I like a good party game, so this seems right up my alley. I don't know why I haven't gotten it yet, but I will be trying to pick up a copy at Gen Con. And finally, just a few honorable mentions for games that didn't make my top 10 games to buy. Trailblazers is a game developed by Ryan Courtney, who also did Curious Cargo, so I definitely want to at least check that out. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Galaxy Rush sounded cool. Dungeons of Infinity, The Artemis Odyssey, Starfighters, City of the Great Machine, My City, Roll and Build, Shadows, Hero and Monsters, and Wild Tiled West were all games that were on my short list but didn't quite make the top 10. Still games I might still check out the booth and see what's going on. Who knows, I might pick them up, but those were my honorable mentions. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and let me know if I missed any great games that should be on my list. You know, was there some game that's at the top of your list that didn't even make my honorable mentions, or do you have a game that seems right up my alley that I didn't even mention? Let me know in the comments. There were a ton of games to go through. I didn't have time to just like in-depth look at every game. Some of them I really just had to kind of skim through or just look at the description and the art. So this list may not be perfect, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want to try and what I want to buy. Let me know if I missed anything though. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you.